And welcome back. And during our break, the restaurant discussion continued. We all would welcome the day when we can eat freely in all of our restaurants in the locality. But this week, District of Columbia Mayor Muriel Bowser reopened schools in the district. Fairfax County is phasing in their reopening plan over the next 4 weeks. And Loudoun County, responding to one parent's criticism that went viral on the internet, where this gentleman called the school board member cowards, voted a week later to reopen March 1st. Yet despite Governor Hogan's urgings, MCPS will only begin to reopen for small groups of students on that date. Cynthia, lots of reports from the CDC and others suggest that schools are not the super spreaders. So why not reopen faster?
Well, every time someone brings that up, there's also the accompanying caveat, which is that schools are not spreaders, but communities are. And where do you think the children come from? They come from communities. They come from communities. So if communities have a high rate of spread and a high rate of infection, that comes into the schools. So a second concern, of course, is school personnel and they're being able to be vaccinated because teachers have underlying health conditions too. Thirdly, schools have to make sure that, and I'm going to say it, I've already mentioned it, about ventilation and air exchange systems to make sure that those aren't contributors to any spread. And of course, PPE. And teachers are rightfully distrustful or skeptical that they will be equipped by their school systems and protected by their school systems so that they can safely, healthily teach.
Well, how is it then that private schools have been able to reopen, Cynthia?
Well, private schools are under different jurisdiction and they set their own standards. They have different standards. I will say,
but I mean, they have the same concerns.
Let me say one more thing about private schools. Public schools educate students who live in, many more students who live in multi-generational households, many more students who have parents who have to have public-facing jobs and are exposed. So private schools have a level of safety because of the kinds of families that they educate.
I think that's an oversimplified generalization of the students.
But there is truth to
go
it.
To parochial and other private schools. Linda, if you want to join in on this particular discussion, please feel free to do so. Or I've got a question for you. It seems that the quality of education that our children are getting this past year is suspect. And even that noted educator, Joy Behar, on The View, suggested that all school-age children should repeat the school year. Is that necessary?
I don't think it's necessary, particularly if it's coming from a top-down perspective. My children are in independent schools. And while they've had a little bit less work with their curriculum, I think taking the whole year off would be alarmist. I know with some of the public schools, for instance, Fairfax County lost a few weeks, I think 4 to 6 weeks last year in the spring. But otherwise, taking a year off is a bit unfounded and a bit drastic a solution, I think, at this point.
So, Cynthia, I want to go back to this idea about private versus public. I mean, there are those that advocate that we all go to an all voucher system so that if you want to feel comfortable sending your kid to in-person learning at a private school, you can do so using your vouchers, or you can use those vouchers at a Montgomery County public school system. Why isn't that a good idea instead of having parents and children being beholden to the teachers union?
Boy, you really picked the issue to push my buttons, Casey.
I know, I try to.
My point of view is that the American public school system is one of the most important democratization and boosts to our country that there is compared to other countries that don't have strong, robust public school systems. It's a lifter of our populace and our citizenry and has helped create the country that we have. I think what you're suggesting is a solution in search of a problem.
No.
I think that we have a good, strong, robust public school system, and that vouchers would not solve any problems that you think that we have.
Well, I think the Montgomery County school system could use more competition, because I don't agree with you that it's as wonderful as projected. But we're going to have to save that for another day